I can't figure it out. I don't know why I can't figure out these cameras. Turn that off. Tracking. I don't need your tracking. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so this is the third video in the Dyna floorboard mount project series. So if you guys want to watch what we've done up till now, then you can go back and check those videos out on my channel. I'll put a link to them here or there, whichever side it pops up on, I don't know. And I just wanted to show you guys something that we're doing before we start welding. So we're gonna put stops on the floorboard mounts so that the floorboards stay kind of where I want them to be tilted at. And I've decided actually that I want them to be tilted in about 1/4 inch. So rather than sitting level, like with my foot flat, I want my foot to be kind of tilted in a little bit like this, if you're looking at the front of my foot. So it's gonna be about 1/4 inch tilt. And I just wanted to show you guys how we are doing that, how we're making the measurements for that. Okay guys, so first thing you're going to want to do is decide where you want your floorboards to be sitting. So you want to get on the bike and just kind of decide what kind of tilt feels comfortable for you. So I got up on the bike and my dad kind of just adjusted them till I told him that what was comfortable for me. Now that I've decided that that's where I want the tilt to be for my floorboards, then I found a piece of 1/4 inch flat bar and I'm going to put that on the inside of the floorboard. And I'm going to make sure that this 1/8 inch bar is parallel to the line that's on the floorboard. Because we know that these lines are parallel with the bike, then we know that once this bar is parallel with one of those lines, then everything is nice and parallel and straight. Now that I've got my flat bar on here, I've got a square I'm going to use, and I'm going to make sure that the inside edge of the square is actually parallel with the flat bar that I have. It helps if you have something actually to kind of hold this square in place. I don't really have anything that works super well, but this magnet kind of works. So now that's parallel. And the reason how come we're using the square is to make sure that my level is going to be sitting straight on the floorboard. So we don't want it sitting like crooked to either direction like this, because that's gonna change your measurement for what's level. Also too, before I put the level up on here, I'm making sure that this is set back from the front of the floorboard on either side of the bike. All right, so I've got this set back 5 inches from the front of the floorboard. And now I'm just gonna put the level up here and make sure that it just butt up against the front of the square, or the top of the square, I guess you can say. And just double check that everything is still parallel. All right, and that is level. It's not perfectly level. My bubble is just touching the outside line on the level there, but it's the same exact measurement on either side of the bike, and that's what's important. Measurements for the tilt isn't important. It doesn't have to be some exact measurement or anything like that. It just has to be what feels comfortable for you, and then you can make up that distance with whatever works for you to kind of get that tilt proper. Oh, just a note actually too, you want to make sure that your bike is actually level when you're doing this, so straight up and down. And you can do that by putting a level on one of your brake rotors. Just make sure that your bike's level. You want your bike to be level either way for this. And yeah, anyway guys, that's how we figured it out. So now that I know where this tilt is and we kind of have it set, we are going to weld the stoppers for the floorboard so that my floorboards aren't flopping around while I'm riding my bike. So we've already got some material cut out for the stoppers. Each stopper is going to be slightly different length from each other just because our angles are all different on the mounts. But my dad is going to help explain how we took the measurements for the angles that we're going to need cut for each individual mount.
Okay, so the first thing that has to be done is you need to know the distance from this bottom corner to where you want to be up here. So the way we do that is we mark this corner with a bit of ink like that. put it in here and rub it back and forth on that edge like that. And what that'll do is it takes a wee bit of ink off the edge of that corner, and that gives you a measurement for that corner in there. And then we go from that corner and we scribe a line across the surface of our material. And then what we do is we have that piece sitting in there, and then we take and we make a measurement here like this. And that tells us the distance from this piece to this corner on our flat bar. So we take that measurement and then we make a measurement there to that line. And that gives us our distance. So now what we have is we have our distance from this bottom corner, which is here, to our top, and that gives us this angle. We go from this corner to this corner, and then this is squared off here because that's a square cut corner down there. Once this piece here is trimmed out, it will fit into here. That'll sit in there straight, and then that will be our stopper for the floorboard.
I just wanted to show you guys how we have these all mounted up so that they'll be nice and sturdy while we got those tack welds done. And then my dad just put some little tack welds on each of them, and we're just letting them cool off a little bit, and then we will be ready to weld them together. Okay guys, so before we actually start doing our welding, I wanted to show you guys how we have this all jigged up, because it is important to make sure that the things you're welding are not going to move when they get hot, because as we all know, when metal heats up, it can warp and move into places where you might not want it to end up being. So this is what we're doing as a jig here. We've got this thick chunk of steel plate. We want to use thick material because we know that thick material is not going to end up heating up and then warping and making it so that the integrity of our jig is compromised. So the bottom end of the mount is clamped up nice and tight on this thick chunk of steel plate, and then we're going to also clamp the top to the steel plate by just creating a bridge here to the plate itself. We're doing that with a chunk of thick flat bar here, and then we've got a heavy gauge piece of angle iron that's clamped to the steel plate, and then for any like anomalous fitment, we're just making up that gap with just different feeler gauges stacked on top of each other. So that's our jig. Everything's clamped up nice and tightly, and we're ready to get some welding done on this thing. Okay guys, so we've got one more weld to do on this part here, and it's just on the underside of the bracket there, but we actually have to take it off of this jig to be able to do that. So now that everything's cooled off, as you guys can see, then I'm just gonna show my dad removing this clamp down here, and then you'll see that nothing moved at all while we were welding, and it's all just stayed in place, so the jig worked out. So as you can see, everything stayed in place and the jig actually held everything together, and I just wanted to show you guys that. Having things all clamped together nice and tight keeps things straight, which is the important thing when you are welding, especially when it's something that has to fit. All right, everybody, so the mounts for the floorboards are basically finished, at least the mounts for the floorboards themselves. We also are going to be integrating the controls into the floorboard mounts, but the floorboard mounts themselves are done enough to the point that the floorboards are actually mounted on the bike right now. They don't look the prettiest, so they will look better by the time they are finished. Okay, so there we are. There is a floorboard hanging on a bike, actually solidly mounted. And these are the mounts here. I'm showing you guys the better ones of the four, the ones that I didn't hack so much with the grinder. There's the back one there on the left side of the bike, and the front one. And you can see I did kind of try to round it out a little here, and then up in here. You got the tabs there, the stoppers, just so the floorboards stay sitting at the level that we want them to. Yeah, so not bad looking at all. And just go on to the other side of the bike. All right, yeah. And we've got the same thing on this side of the bike, just slightly different, but yes, mounted. Floorboards are steady, sturdy, holding on. So that is it for this video, guys. And this is so close to being done. I can taste the wind in my face, or whatever you want to call it. I can feel myself already just enjoying this bike so much. Like, I am going to be doing everything on my Dyna when I'm not riding my shovel head, but this Dyna is going to replace my trucks. Other than not being able to haul big heavy things on it, I'm going to be taking it everywhere because it's just going to be so convenient. And like I said, I'm going to like just totally make this thing just a complete cruiser. Saddlebags, windshield possibly, and floorboards, backrest, maybe even a cup holder, you never know. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of just like rambling on like I do, but yeah, I hope that that was kind of helpful or whatever, you know. I'm tired and I'm hot right now, so I think it's just time to actually end the video. And if you like any of that, if you like what you see, me, all that, all those things, even if you don't like me, but maybe you like my bike, maybe you like Johnny Crash, maybe you like my shovel head, you never know, then please like this video, comment, subscribe, all of those fun things that really help me out a lot. And like always, my lovely YouTube people, I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace. I'm sorry if I don't reply to your comment. I actually read all the comments that I get, though. I don't have anybody else reading my comments and giving you guys hearts. That is me. When you get a heart from me, it's actually me, or when you get a reply from me, it is actually me. So I still read every single comment. I don't reply to them all anymore because I get a lot more comments than I used to, and I've got a needy crow in my life and all of the other needy animals that live near me. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate absolutely every single one of you. And I'm just like glad that you guys are taking the time to watch my stuff, because I know it's probably not the most interesting stuff out there in the world of YouTube, but I'm thankful that I have an audience, and a committed one, and it keeps growing. So it's all great. It's all good. Holy crap, man, I'm boiling hot.